This is the Phoenix, Arizona weather discussion for Wednesday, the 1st of January, 2025. Happy New Year, everyone. I'm Michael Groff. And even though we flipped the calendar to a brand new year, we've got the same old weather pattern here across the Southwest. Dry conditions, temperatures above average, and that will continue for the rest of the week. But by this weekend, signs of at least slightly cooler temperatures coming into the mix. Now, are we going to see any rain anytime soon? We desperately need precipitation. We are now at 132 consecutive days without rain in Phoenix, and I don't think we're going to see any anytime soon. But there is a big pattern change coming to North America, and how will that impact us here in the Southwest? We'll talk about all of that and everything else. We've got a ton of stuff to get to on this video, so settle on in, grab some popcorn or whatever it is you want to do. I don't know who would grab popcorn to watch a weather video, but maybe you would. Or get your favorite hangover drink or whatever, because here we go. We got a lot of house cleaning stuff to get to as we do to start any new year. First, I want to show you this before we go anywhere. What you're looking at here on the screen right now is a view looking west from downtown Phoenix, and you can see the visibility has improved quite a bit from where it was earlier this morning. But speaking of, this is how it looked in the pre-dawn hours after all the festivities from last night. The fireworks, lots and lots and lots and lots of fireworks, many of them from non-professionals, from the private folks, and you know how I feel about that. And this is one of the reasons I'm not really a fireworks guy, and why I think we should really ban the sale of fireworks and the use of fireworks here in Arizona, because, especially here in Phoenix, because of this. You can see all that smoke, and you can see this from the ADOT cams. This is just hanging in the air because that cool air in the overnight hours here in the wintertime, it gets trapped near the surface, and that smoke has no place to go. It just hangs right here. And so as a result, all that smoke is there, all that noxious air, and that's why we have an air quality alert in effect for today, and that continues until 9 p.m. this evening, and the Arizona Department of Environmental Quality may extend that into tomorrow, because I'm sure we're going to have more fireworks going off tonight. Maybe not as many as last night, but you combine that with people in the fireplaces and all that. You're not supposed to be using those on days like today, but people will do it anyway. So, and then of course, just the general background pollution that we generally have from the cars and the trucks and all that here in the valley. So that makes conditions look like that. And of course, on social media, there were, of course, a lot of articles about it, and people responded with things like this. It's called fog. And that's the kind of audience you get on Twitter X these days. But it's not called fog. That is clearly pollution. That is smoke. It's not even smog. It is smoke and particulate matter that is near the surface. And in order to have fog, you'd need to have near 100% humidity. And of course, we were nowhere near that last night, with temperatures in the low 50s or around 50, dew points around 30. Relative humidity values were in the 40% range, 40 to 45, 46%. So we weren't going to get fog in those kind of conditions, but you can see clearly, even before midnight, with all the fireworks and all that stuff going on, visibilities were restricted. And in fact, at one point got down to about 3.5 miles, at least according to the observations from Sky Harbor Airport, and some spots even had lower visibility than that. So no, it is not fog that you saw last night. And if you see it again tonight, it is not going to be fog. We haven't had rain in 132 days. There's no moisture here at the surface. So there's not going to be any fog. All right, we got that out of the way. Now we've got other house cleaning stuff to do. Housekeeping stuff, house cleaning, housekeeping, whatever it is. Let's get to it. We wrapped up the month of December. Let's look at those climate stats. And of course, if December 2024 felt like an unusually warm one, that's because it was. Officially the warmest December on record in Phoenix. The average high temperature, 75.1. That blew out the old record. The average low temperature, 49.4, surpassing the previous warmest mark. So the mean temperature for the month, the average temperature, 62.3 degrees, a full degree warmer than the previous record for the month. And of course, no precipitation in the bucket at Phoenix Sky Harbor International Airport means December 2024 ties with a few weathers for the driest on record as well. Not a good combination for an area that is drought-stricken such as we are right now. So when we put December 2024 in the mix with the other 11 months from 2024, it turns out that, of course, as would be no surprise to any of you that have watched these videos because we told you this was going to happen more than a month ago, 2024 was the warmest year on record in Phoenix with an average temperature of 78.6 degrees, surpassing the old record of 77.3 degrees from 2017. And you might say, well, what's 1.3 degrees? And sure, on any given day, a 1.3 degree variance in temperature is nothing. Over a month, it's a bit more significant, and over a period of a year, 12 calendar months, it's a lot. That's a big deal. And that's not even 1.3 degrees above average. That's 1.3 degrees surpassing the previous record, which is several degrees above the climatological average. So obviously, it was a very warm year here in Phoenix. And taking a look at it here, these are the 25 warmest years on record in Phoenix. Of course, again, we blew out the old record by 1.3 degrees. You can see of the 25 warmest years in Phoenix, every single one of them has occurred since 1981. And 21 of them have occurred since the year 2000. So obviously, it has been an increasingly warm atmosphere here over the desert Southwest and here in the Phoenix area, and really globally for that matter, but especially here in Phoenix. And we'll highlight this for you. Those are the all-time records that I highlighted. Those are the warmest months on record. 4 of the warmest months of the year happened in 2024. And those were June, September, October, and December. All set records for their all-time warmest. Okay, so that's that. And of course, we got to get to yesterday's climate stats for you as we closed out 2024. I know we're overwhelming you with a lot of data here today, but that's what happens on a brand new year. 73 degrees was the afternoon high, 47 the morning low, 66 and 45 are the averages for this time of year. If you think this is great, we're going to even have more breakdown of these statistics in coming days. We'll show you month by month and all of that. We always do that around here, so get ready to really geek out on more data. All right? Maybe we should make it a separate video. I don't know. Sometimes numbers tend to overwhelm people. As we take a look outside right now after 11 a.m., yes, we do have mostly clear sky. Most of that smoke is clearing out, but don't let it deceive you. The air quality is still bad. We're at 60 degrees at Sky Harbor, dew point's 25, humidity 26%, a light wind, and the barometer is steady. Satellite picture out here across the west. The main storm track, of course, is to the north. And we have plenty of rain and snow from the Great Basin up into the Pacific Northwest, over into the Treasure Valley of Idaho. Oh, it is snowing up there today. But here, nope, we've got a case of mostly clear sky across Arizona. A few clouds maybe for the northeastern corner of the state, and clipping along the southeastern border, a few high clouds. But for the most part today, we'll see plenty of sun across the area. The watch warning map, again, that air quality alert in effect through 9 p.m. this evening. We've got winter weather advisories up north. And we do have some winter weather conditions possible for parts of the northeast with a weather system up that way. Convective outlook for today, no organized severe weather across the country. Hardly even a rumble of thunder to be heard, except, of all places, along the coast of Maine. And then the precipitation outlook, this is valid through Wednesday morning of next week. Rain amounts in Phoenix, nothing statewide, basically nothing. Region-wide, not much to be found either. And it's for the reasons I told you. The main storm track stays away from us. Now, the weather pattern across North America has been advertised for several days, is going to be changing and fairly dramatically. And is that going to impact us? We'll talk about it in more detail now as we explore the models, see what the future may hold. Here we go, the GFS. It's the 12Z run. This is valid at 5 o'clock this afternoon. Got a trough moving into the northeast or through the northeast, and precipitation up that way. Cooler air for the eastern half of the country. A northwesterly flow, and you can see the main storm track is to the north of us. And heights are still a little bit above average here. So with high pressure generally in control, more or less, what it means down at the surface for the rest of the day today, yeah, mostly sunny. High temperatures should top out somewhere in the low to mid 70s. Again, the average high for today, 66 degrees, will be above that. Tonight, clear sky. There could be a little bit of haze again tonight. Not as bad as last night, though. Overnight lows generally in the, I'd say, upper 30s in the cool spots, 40s elsewhere. And then tomorrow, it's more the same, mid-70s for the high. The sky is mostly sunny to partly cloudy. Now, on Friday, this should be the warmest day of the forecast period. And again, we have high pressure in control. There is a weather system that's approaching the west coast, and we've got rain and snow up that way. But around here, it is just partly sunny, warm, and dry. High temperatures anywhere from about 76 to 80. Yeah, we could conceivably hit 80 degrees on Friday. And so we're continuing with this very warm weather. But the good news is that we will see at least something of a cool down as we move into the weekend. This system will traverse eastward. It's going to weaken as it moves in. And of course, the moisture and dynamic support, what little there is to the north of us. And so that's where the precipitation will be found. But the heights will come down somewhat, and we do see temperatures retracting several degrees, highs somewhere between about 70 to 75 on Saturday. Let's go to Sunday. And again, we'll see a continued cooling trend, highs upper 60s, low 70s or so, as northwesterly flow remains in place and that weather system passes us on by and slightly cooler air is in here. And the heights are down now. So as we go into next week, temperatures will be closer to seasonal averages, although still probably a couple or a few degrees above where they ought to be. So for Monday and Tuesday, mostly clear sky, high temperatures 66 to 71. Overnight lows during this time, generally 30s in the cold spots, 40s for the rest of us. And I should note here, that system that's diving east out of the Rockies and out of the Intermountain West is going to sort of merge up here with a deepening Arctic air mass. We're going to see a much deeper layered northerly flow setting up over the plains and across the eastern part of the country. A broad trough takes shape there. A piece of energy is likely to break away from that, or at least could break away from that and form into an upper low south or southwest of us. That's probably not going to impact our weather, but we're going to dive into that a little bit more. But generally speaking, this initial short wave comes out of the Rockies and toward the Plain States, and we're going to see the setup for maybe a pretty good snowstorm out there. We'll talk about that here. This is a week from today, Wednesday, the 8th of January. So we got this upper low that's shown to form here south of us, somewhere near the Baja. And again, the GFS has been insistent that this happens, and some of the other guidance shows a somewhat similar solution. So we're going to at least, kind of roll with this for now, and that a pretty impressive Rex block pattern is going to develop, and a very high amplitude pattern is going to develop across North America. And we could even get a pretty good cross-polar flow going. So the eastern half of the country is eventually going to go into the deep freeze if all of this sets up as advertised. And so what this means for next Wednesday for us is that we're going to be dry. We might see some clouds and some breezes, but temperatures are still probably going to be at least a little bit above average, upper 60s, low 70s, with maybe some clouds. But look at the snowstorm that's developing across West Texas and North Texas. Wow. Places like Midland, Odessa, Lubbock, over toward Dallas, Fort Worth, rain or snow rather. That is snow, maybe a little bit of freezing rain to the southeast of that, and then just plain old cold rain for the Gulf Coast. So that is an interesting setup, but again, that's east of us. Here's Thursday. This is the 9th of January, and again, look at the ridge that's building along the west coast and nosing in through the west. But meanwhile, we got troughing in the east, and that upper low sits to the south of us. And I know it looks really enticing. You see that upper low and you think, oh man, all that has to do is just drift north and we could really start to pull some moisture up here. But in a Rex block, probably not going to happen. And the only thing we might get out of that is some breezy conditions, especially across southeast Arizona. But in that setup, I think we're just dry and mild. But again, the southeast U.S. could be in for quite the snowstorm. Again, if this is right, but we're out here kind of trudging into fantasy land. So we're not going to hype that up too much. We'll leave that for the other social media guys, the other clickbaiters, but it is a possibility. One thing that we're we're going to watch for. Okay, there's a chance that it could happen. The chance is not zero. And then going out 10 days, this is Friday, the 10th. Again, impressive low, kind of setting up along the East Coast. And again, cold weather for the East. And that upper low just sitting to the south of us. What is it going to do? In all probability, it eventually is going to drift off to the east. It'll probably head toward West Texas and maybe merge up with that very cold air. I mean, it could set up a really messy weather pattern across the southern plains and the southeast U.S. Yes, of course, people are going to ask, well, could it come north? It's a possibility, but one that we're not going to consider right now because most of the ensemble guidance does not show that. I say most of the ensemble guidance. That's a tease because let me show you this. This is rainfall for Phoenix out through the 15th of January off the GFS ensemble. You can forget about it. I mean, it shows basically nothing. The European ensemble, how about this? The control member is up at 1.25 inches of rain. It clearly buys into an idea that we'll see that upper low get caught up and come north and just sit here and dump rain on us. And we'll just, I mean, it's quite a range storm for us here in the Southwest and snow up north. All right, it's got a deluge. The control member. Now, there's 51 members in this ensemble. Many of them do not show that. Okay, the ensemble means about 0.2 of an inch, biased by the extremes in the members, biased especially by that extreme in the control member. But other than that, I think we're probably, the safe bet is we're going to stay dry for the next 2 weeks. But, you know, we do what we do here, and that is to watch those model trends. All right, looking at temperatures off the national blend of models, above average for the rest of the week, trending down a bit for the weekend and next week, but still remaining a little bit above those seasonal averages. And that's going to do it for the Phoenix, Arizona weather discussion for today. My next video is due back here tomorrow morning. Should you happen to enjoy these videos, then be sure to subscribe, like, share, click that notification bell. Leave those comments, questions, and suggestions. If you really like what we do here, then click that thanks icon below the video here on YouTube. Make those monetary contributions to us, or you can donate directly to us via PayPal. groffshow@gmail.com is that PayPal address. It is groffshow@gmail.com for PayPal. The executive producer of the Phoenix, Arizona weather discussion is my one and only, the sweetest of all time, the Asian sensation and proprietor of sweetchildaz.com.org and the Facebook page of the same name, Sweet Child Arizona, talking about my Michelle. Check her out. Check out her blogs, videos, everything Michelle related, linked up down in the description. Also, Michelle and Mike related is our streaming station, available 24/7, 365. It is called KMGX. We play a ton of music. We have a ton of fun with it as well. So do give it a listen at your convenience, at your leisure, if you will. And what will you hear over there if you tune in? Well, you'll hear the most chaotic mix of music, including things like this. Okay, that's all we can play, or else we get demonetized. All right, that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching. All of your continued support. It has been so greatly appreciated, and we just hope you continue here into the year 2025. So, be safe out there. Again, it is still technically the holiday. We want you to be safe. And you guys have yourselves a terrific rest of your Wednesday and a very happy and safe New Year.